worked my whole life to get to this point. No one is taking this away from me.
Berto, is he the man who finally solves the pound-for-pound King's puzzle?
This is tailor-made to be a war.
Mayweather versus Berto, Saturday, September 12th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
Hello, everybody. I'm James Smith. Welcome to In This Corner TV at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, site of Saturday night's pay-per-view. Floyd Money Mayweather takes on Andre Berto. Will it be the final fight of Floyd's illustrious career? We'll have to wait and see on that. It's on Showtime pay-per-view, and the undercard, a good one. Grizzled Mexican veteran Orlando Salido takes on the Puerto Rican Roman Martinez in a rematch of a fight Martinez won earlier this year, and a fight I'm really looking forward to. Badou Jack, now a champion in his own right, takes on George Groves. His only 2 losses in the UK to Carl Froch. We caught up with both fighters in this fight that is guaranteed to be a Pier Sixer. Badou, I've seen a lot of improvement in you, breaking you down the last few fights since your loss, and I think a lot of it is not just physical and skills, it's the mental side of the game. Talk about that.
Yes, boxing is 75% mental, so I'm very confident, very strong mentally, so that's why I was able to bounce back and win a title.
In terms of your skill set, what are the things that you're still working on to improve? You know, once you become a champion, most guys get better. Will you?
Yeah.
What are you working on?
I work on everything, actually. I want to have a better jab, faster hands, you know, more power, better technique, better defense. So we work on everything in the gym every day.
This is said to be Floyd's swan song, his final fight on Saturday night. We'll see about that. But for you to be headlining the undercard of this fight against a guy in George Groves, talk about the feeling you have just a few days away.
I mean, I want the toughest fight. George Groves is one of the best, so they could have easily gave me a voluntary, get an easy fight or easier fight than George Groves. But I want to prove to myself and to everybody else that I belong here. So that's why we picked George Groves.
All right, look into that camera and tell the folks what's going to happen on Saturday night.
You're going to see a very explosive fight. We're both going to try to go for the knockout. And you got to tune in.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
George, talk about the training camp for this fight with Jack. Any new wrinkles that you put in?
Yeah, I mean, we've been up in Big Bear, so we've been running at altitude. That's brand new to us. And you take for granted the difference it makes, you know. And we was up there so long, we forgot what it was like week one. Week one, we was gasping for air, you know. And then by the end, we was doing 15-round sparring, running 6-minute miles. So we're in a fantastic place, and you know, we've really sort of pushed it on from what we would be capable of back in the UK. So you know, training out in the heat, training out at the altitude, we've really enjoyed it. But it's nice to be out of there now, back in Vegas, ready to fight.
In watching, I believe a fighter can learn from a loss. I think you can learn from 2 losses to Froch. The first one, I won't even get into that. That was one of the worst stoppages I've seen in a long, long time. But one of the things, if I was critiquing you, I would say that you need to work on relaxation during a fight, because sometimes you're winning a fight and I think you get a little bit ahead of yourself. Is the mental side, is that something you're working on?
I think I've always been mentally strong, very mentally strong. The fights in particular, you're talking about the 2 Froch fights. First fight was at the MEN Arena, it was 20,000 people, and 19 and a half of them were booing me on the way in. I was being spat on, I was being beer thrown at me. I had to deal with a lot of pressure. I dealt with it. The second fight was in front of 80,000. Again, this time around I had much more support. But at 26 years old, second world title fight, already been stitched up in the first one. There was a lot of pressure going into that fight as well. I don't think it ever really gets too much involved in my boxing. But of course you want to stay relaxed. Since then I came back and boxed. The following fight against Christopher Brass, threw 1,000 punches in 12 rounds. In a fight that was 2 months after the loss and the biggest loss in history. So, as I say, tightening up during a fight can only be down to pressure. I deal with pressure very well, and I'm okay, and we know what we're doing.
Let's talk about Badou Jack, specifically. What's your game plan for Saturday night?
Well, I think listening to him talk, he talks about this being a 50-50 fight. So he's going to have to go out and judge whether this is still a 50-50 fight after a few rounds. If he lasts that long, we plan to start and let him know that this isn't a 50-50 fight, this is a one-sided fight from the very first second. But it's just how we feel, you know. So we'll go out, we'll dictate, and we'll build from there. And we look forward to a good win.
Look into that camera and tell the fans in the UK and the United States and around the world what's going to happen on Saturday night.
Saturday night, September 12th, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Badou Jack will not hear the final bell. He's going to get knocked out.